The latest Pompey news, updates every day from the Pompey Sound news desk.
Pompey and Birmingham City have been charged by the FA following a mass brawl that erupted during their final day clash at Fratton Park. According to the FA, both clubs failed to ensure their players behaved properly during the 80th minute of the championship fixture on Saturday, May 2nd. Both sides have until tomorrow, May 12th, to respond to the charges. The ugly scenes flared up late in what had been a sleepy, dead rubber match. Players, substitutes and staff from both teams piled in after a controversial shot on goal from Pompey's Adrian SEGGS enraged the visitors. The trouble started after play was stopped for an injury to Christophe Clara. When Birmingham were handed possession back, a mix-up between keeper James Beadle and defender Bright Osai Samuel saw them hesitate on the ball. SEGGS, spotting his chance, pounced on it and fired a shot narrowly over the bar from a tight angle. His decision didn't go down well with the Birmingham players, who felt he should have allowed them to retain possession uncontested. And furious Beadle was among the first to angrily confront the Croatian under-21 international, and things quickly boiled over. Players from both sides swarmed to the corner of the pitch in front of the Fratton end and south stand, with pushing and shoving breaking out as some had to be forcefully separated. Once the dust settled, referee John Brooks booked both SEGGS and Osai Samuel for their roles in the incident. Managers John Massinho and Chris Davies also saw yellow. Until that point, the game had all the feel of an end-of-season fixture, with the only real excitement coming from two first-half goals scored by SEGGS on 8 minutes, and August Prisquet after 19 minutes. The scuffle, however, showed there was still plenty of passion left, even with players having one eye on their summer holidays. The brief flash of intensity didn't spark the game back to life though, with the final score remaining 1-1.
So, go on then, what do you reckon? Do you think Pompey should appeal against, or plead not guilty, or ask for some mitigation? Because after all, it was the Birmingham players who started the physical stuff. It was. There's no two ways about that. And once two of them had a go at Adrian SEGGS, the rest of the Birmingham players decided that they ought to show some self-righteous indignation. How could this man possibly go against the spirit of the game? He didn't. What happened was that your lot were half asleep. Those two guys were half asleep and probably wanted the other one to take responsibility. I thought in football you're supposed to want the ball. And when you've got the ball, you're supposed to want to keep it and do something with it. It's alive the moment it comes within the orbit of where you are standing on the grass. When the throw-in has been given by Pompey back to Birmingham, Pompey did everything absolutely right, and those two guys just didn't get it right. And Adrian SEGGS was quite right to do what he did. Anybody else on the pitch would have done the same thing. Anybody else on any pitch anywhere would have done the same thing. We've given you the ball back, and now you don't know what to do with it. So why SEGGS got booked remains a mystery to me. He can't have been booked, I don't think, because he didn't contravene any law of the game when he went to chase the ball down. What happened was those Birmingham players were embarrassed at the extent of their, I'm going to say it, cock-up. And then the whole of the Birmingham team decided that they could have a pop at SEGGS because they somehow held a moral high ground which SEGGS somehow managed to contravene. So I don't know. I think Pompey ought to appeal. I think they ought to make a thing of it. Unless they find it easier to accept a minimal fine and move on. But we shall see, and it will be interesting. But that's my take on it. You're entitled to your own take on it. radiopompey@gmail.com is our email address.
It looks like Rich Hughes is staying put at Pompey after all. The club's sporting director is now reportedly out of the running for the job at Sheffield Wednesday. Earlier this month, Football League World linked Hughes with the Owls, suggesting he was being lined up for a switch to Hillsborough. The surprising rumour even emerged on the morning of Pompey's final match of the season against Birmingham, just after the club had secured its championship survival. While Hughes himself has remained quiet on the reports, the Sheffield Star announced this afternoon that he is no longer in contention. According to them, the man who has helped transform Pompey's fortunes since arriving from Forest Green in September 2022, is no longer on Sheffield Wednesday's radar. The Star reports that while Hughes is believed to have been the subject of some form of exploratory discussion over the role, Wednesday's new owner David Storch is now looking elsewhere. That news will come as a huge relief to the Pompey hierarchy, who won't want to lose a sporting director of Hughes's calibre. He has overhauled the club both on and off the pitch since he arrived on the South Coast. Still, the fact that there was contact with Sheffield Wednesday suggests he may be open to leaving Fratton Park should the right offer come along. Under Hughes's watch, Pompey have climbed from being a struggling League One side to establishing themselves in the Championship. He's also overseen major improvements to the training ground and its facilities, which has earned praise from a number of players. Most notably, Hughes masterminded the outstanding recruitment drive in the summer of 2023 that built the backbone of Pompey's League One title-winning campaign. Of course, it was Hughes who identified John Mousinho as the outstanding candidate to replace Danny Cowley as head coach back in January 2023. Taking a chance on Oxford United's set-piece coach was a left-field decision that few fans were impressed with at the time, but it has since proven to be an inspired appointment. It was a leap of faith from Hughes that has paid off in spades. Both men signed new contracts in September 2023, with Mousinho recently confirming he still has 2 years left on his deal.
The Sheffield Star reporting that Rich Hughes' future lies with Portsmouth, not Sheffield Wednesday, for the time being. Now, let's get conspiratorial about this. Why on earth would Rich Hughes want to leave Portsmouth, a Championship side, which may well have been promised a good deal more money to play with in the transfer market than we've had for the last couple of years by the Eisners? That seems to be highly likely. Why would he want to leave a Championship side for a League One side who are no doubt going to find life very difficult in League One, certainly to begin with? If he was offered an awful lot of money to spend, perhaps that may have been a consideration. But it looks as though some sort of contact was made between Sheffield Wednesday and Rich Hughes, although we can't say for certain that that's the case. But what would they have been luring him with? The prospect of living in Sheffield? I don't mean any offence towards Sheffield at all. I've been a couple of times and it's a great place and the people are fantastic. But ditto in Portsmouth. And presumably he's settled here. We know he cares about his young family and the continuity that he's managed to achieve in his career in behind the scenes in football role. The continuity has been really important to him and his family. So why would he want to up sticks and go to... I'll tell you why. Shall I tell you why? Anybody listening? No. I'll tell you why. I reckon they said to him, how would you like to be the manager? I didn't say that. And it almost certainly could not possibly be the case, whatever it was that bloke just whispered. But look, we're all ambitious. Everybody's ambitious. Does Rich Hughes' ambition end at the road that leads to him being an exceedingly well-paid but well appreciated sporting director? Because sporting director is one of the number twos to the head coach, or as we increasingly refer to John Mousinho, the manager, because we reckon he manages the whole of the football, the whole of the sporting side of the setup that is Fratton Park. They're a good double act. They're not, if you go back that far, Peter Taylor and Brian Clough, yet. They're certainly not an item. Or are they? Suppose in a couple of years' time, with Pompey flourishing in the Championship, okay, and their job signed, sealed and delivered, done and dusted, and one of the big six come a-hunting. Are they going to be hunting John Mousinho? You bet your bottom dollar. But are they going to be hunting the double act? Are they going to be hunting both of our men, knowing how well they work together? All I'm saying is you heard it here first. But for the time being, the main thing is Rich Hughes can get on. He can maybe buy himself another cushion for his office chair and start looking at pixel screens which are showing that there's an awful lot of money available to him if he can find the right people. Why would he want to leave Portsmouth? Silly idea.
Pompey's alleged interest in Cheltenham defender Arkle Jude Boyd has sown a tiny seed of consternation that Terry Devlin could be on his way to Wrexham, or even sweeter pasture. The 23-year-old, whose contract with Cheltenham is up now that the season has ended, is a right-sided player, but his specialist position is right back. Pompey already have adequate cover for Devlin, and Conor Ogilvie for that matter, in the hugely versatile Jordan Williams, but were the club to show genuine interest in recruiting another right-back, that's a move which might well signal that Devlin has played his last game in the blue shirt. It's reported in a number of places that Jude Boyd is attracting the interest of numerous championship-level clubs, so tying him down to Fratton Park. Equally, Pompey may stay their hand in case a deal can't be agreed for Devlin to leave. Some journalists believe that his departure is inevitable and are already wondering how Pompey are going to spend the money. Pompey are believed to have rejected a £2 million bid, but Devlin's CV is now longer and more auspicious, and his value may well have soared.
So it seems the so-called experts are saying that Terry Devlin is certainly going to be approached, probably by more than one big club, and that he's 50-50. I get the impression, don't you, that he's 50-50 to leave. So the question will be, how much will we get for him? Because he's still got plenty to go on his contract. And the thing is this, I think it's fair to say, don't you, that gone are the days when it was quietly held in football that the two least important positions on the pitch are right back and left back. Those days are gone. And yet, if you look at the transfer deals and the alleged wages, the salaries of players across the pitch, the striker still, who is banging them in, is still the most expensive player to buy on the pitch, and the fullback's the least. The striker could be earning, as Haaland is, something like £250,000 a week, and it's not that long ago that, wasn't it, Ashley Cole at Arsenal was incensed to discover that he was the least well-paid player amongst the Arsenal first team on £55,000 a week, and he kicked up a song and dance about that, not because he needed the money or wanted the money. He wanted equal status with the rest of his team. And the reason I mention this is because somebody at Fratton Park may have to put a tentative price tag on Terry Devlin. And how much will it be? We've heard, we haven't had it confirmed, that Wrexham offered £2 million during the Christmas winter transfer window. They may come back. They're spending money. They've got money to spend. And there are other championship clubs. And of course, the slightly lower reach Premier League clubs, the freshly promoted clubs, of which there will be 3 once the playoff thing has sorted itself out, from the championship going into the Premier League. They'll want to strengthen. And Terry Devlin remains a tremendous prospect, excellent defender, a man who wins more than his fair share of 50-50s and aerial duels, and is also very effective going forward and scores goals. There's not a lot more you can wish for in a person who has FB after their name for fullback. So we will, if we collect for him, we will struggle to replace him, surely, that's fair to say, at first at least, but we will have several £1 million to spend elsewhere. And there are plenty of Pompey fans who, I think, because of the sheer salivation at the idea of bringing in new faces, new legs, it's huge. It's the second most lived for thing in a football fan's world, besides obviously winning the next game, is bringing in a new player. So it might be goodbye to Terry Devlin and good luck, but hello and welcome to a new superstar.